Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I'm Kenesha Dees, and I'm back with a look at what's been going on in North Alabama. Coming up on this edition of the Fox 54 Week in Review, North Alabama celebrated freedom on Juneteenth, the official end of slavery in the U.S. We speak with Black leaders from across the Tennessee Valley about the continued importance of remembering this part of American history. A rocket renewal is in the works. The Saturn 1V rocket dismantled just months ago is due to come back to Ardmore. We'll speak with the lawmaker who wants to restore this part of space exploration history. And it's a hockey game quite unlike any other. Anything goes in this game meant to help raise money for cancer research. Keep your stick on the ice. The longest game is just ahead. But as we rewind the clock to last Friday, we hear from Decatur City Council member Hunter Pepper. He throws his support behind an initiative to obtain a third-party review of the city police department.
Back in May, Councilman Jacob Ladner proposed a third-party review of the Decatur Police Department.
We would be looking at hiring a third-party independent review of our police department, kind of policies, procedures, practices, culture, kind of a comprehensive review.
Friday, Councilman Hunter Pepper, who has shown his support for the police department, held a press conference to show his support for the review.
I stand today to express my support for a third-party agency review. While I personally believe in the capabilities of our department's officers and think such a review is not necessary, I understand that it may help restore trust in the community.
Decatur Police Department's leadership has been one of the biggest concerns, and Pepper shares, although there are flaws, Chief Pinion has his support.
Chief Todd Pinion has done an outstanding job. While I believe Chief Pinion's communication could be improved, I cannot say that he has done a poor job overall. He has opened his door to many and welcomed recommendations, but unfortunately he has often been met with resistance. I have faith in his ability to lead our city through this tragedy. Everybody has been under an immense amount of stress. We are all getting hit from different angles. We have been hit with different statements, different opinions. People are coming at us nonstop every single day of the week, wanting to know, what's your opinion this week? Who said this week? Who's doing this week? And I think everybody in this situation needs to know that I'm speaking for me, but I would say that I'm speaking as a whole for the council, is all we want for the city is the city to be happy, the city to grow, and everybody to want to live here and love it here. That's all we want.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
A new camp in Decatur is giving high school students a head start in high-tech skills. This week, the Decatur Morgan County Chamber teamed up with Calhoun to launch the first precision machining camp. Students spent the past 4 days learning essential CNC programming skills and how to safely operate CNC equipment. It's an opportunity for students to gain hands-on experience in a high-demand field.
This is exposure to, show students as far as the job opportunities in our region. They're tremendous with the influx of the aerospace into the area, as well as the automotive, and even medical is a big part of this area. And most people don't know as far as the production of those components, how they occur, who makes those, and machinists play a huge role in that.
The camp will be offered again on June 24th. It's free for upcoming and current high school juniors and seniors. To register, contact the Decatur Morgan County Chamber at 256-353-5312.
A day more than 50 years in the making finally taking place for the UNA Lions this afternoon in the Shoals. Simon Williams was on UNA's campus today, and he's got more.
Lions, this is our moment. This is our time to shine. It's our time to roar.
North Alabama broke ground for Bank Independence Stadium, the future home of Lions football, baseball, and women's soccer. This is a major accomplishment for this university's administration and arguably the biggest in school history, as it's already the largest fundraising project and the single most expensive construction project in school history.
If there's anything comparable, I can't think of it. I've been president here for 10 years, and certainly nothing on my watch would come close. But even thinking back deeper into our very long history here, I think in terms of scale, certainly in terms of impact, nothing like this.
That requires a commitment from a ton of groups.
To date, we've had over 200 donors give to the stadium, over 24 million, right under $25 million, and we're here because of them today.
When you put that type of private fundraising support in the mix with existing reserves and some new revenue streams from athletics and the $35 million that we authorized the university to borrow today, you can get this finished. The funding is there, and I didn't say this outside, but I probably should have. We didn't pass through a tuition increase this year.
They're hoping to be ready for baseball by 2025, with complete construction done and football and women's soccer teams in action on their new surface in 2026.
We're already seeing a return on it. There's a good impact to it. And I think it's just even the investment side that the university is making the investment in the baseball program, and then the student athlete experience. And that's the most important piece. It'll help with the recruiting for sure, but just when athletes get here, their experience is going to be elevated, which is really important for us.
It's all big. It's all momentum. It's all like riding a wave. It's been a heck of a ride, and we're going to continue riding it.
Amidst a rapidly changing college sports landscape, this is a project that can anchor the university.
And we don't deny there's an awful lot of uncertainty out there. And I think this represents everything that's wonderful about UNA. We don't know what the future holds, but I feel very good about our ability to adapt and pivot as necessary and to make sure that a university that's 194 years old has a much longer future in front of it.
A project 50 years in the making is now one day closer to becoming a reality. In Florence, Simon Williams.
All right, well, another delay in the murder trial of former Decatur police officer Mac Marquette. You recall he is the officer who shot and killed Decatur resident Steve Perkins back in September. On Friday, Morgan County Circuit Court Judge Charles Elliott granted a motion for continuance filed by the Morgan County District Attorney's Office. The trial was previously scheduled for November 18th. The reason for the motion? Well, court documents show the district attorney, Scott Anderson, said there are other capital murder trials on the docket ahead of Marquette's that require his office attention. The defense agreed to the rescheduling. No new trial date is set, but a status conference is scheduled for September 23rd, just 6 days before the one-year anniversary of Steve Perkins' death. With temperatures rising, overworking your air-conditioned unit can cause a rise in your electricity bill this summer. But there may be ways to offset cost. I spoke with Decatur Utilities on practical ways to save some bucks. Take a listen.
As temperatures increase, we're going to try and keep our homes and businesses cool and comfortable.
Staying cool this summer could be costly.
Most heat pumps are designed to overcome about 20 degrees between the outside and the inside. So when it's 80 degrees outside, that's not too hard. You can set your heat pump on whatever. But you get up in the 90s and you try to keep it at 68 or 67 or 65, or even 72, that can put a lot of strain on the heat pump and cause it to work harder. And when it's working harder, it's using more energy.
But with a few adjustments, you can help keep those costs down, starting with temperature control.
The Department of Energy actually recommends, if you can stand it, set your heat pump on 78 degrees, and that will save you both energy and money ultimately on your bill. The other thing is, if you're going to be gone all day, don't cool the home to 70 degrees all day. If you're going to be gone to work for 8 hours or 10 hours, go ahead and bump it up 5 or 7 more degrees. And when you get home, you can bump it down.
And if that's still too warm,
one is to turn your ceiling fan counterclockwise. If you look up, most ceiling fans have a little switch and you can change the way the fans rotate. So if you're looking up at it, you want it to go counterclockwise during the summer. And what that does is creates a wind chill.
And when it comes to your windows,
what you want to remember is solar heat is you do not want it in the house during the summer. In the winter, we want that because that's free heating. In the summer, we want to keep it out. So close those blinds, close those curtains, keep that solar heat out. We also say don't use your huge appliances, don't use your oven, don't dry clothes, don't dry dishes during the hottest part of the day. Wait till after dinner, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. That's a cooler part of the day, so you're not adding that heat into the house and then asking your air conditioner to offset it.
Lastly, make sure to get your heat pump serviced.
You need to get your heat pump serviced annually. Change that filter once a month, but once a year, preferably in the spring or the fall, before we really put a lot of stress on that heat pump. You want to get it serviced.
The heat didn't keep many residents from enjoying this weekend's Juneteenth celebrations, and many got a little shopping done in the process. The Shop Black Fest took place in Butler Green Park this afternoon. The event hosts small Black-owned businesses and connect them with their next customer. The event's organizers are a husband and wife team whose dream was to help give these small Black-owned businesses exposure and has been growing over the last 6 years. Founder Greg Westbrooks talks about the event and shares tips on how to get started.
So Shop Black Fest is a festival for Black-owned businesses to meet their next customer. gain revenue and increase their visibility. So to anybody that's trying to get started with their business, I say go for it. Look up all the different things that you can do to be able to make it happen. Make it happen, take the leap. It doesn't have to be perfect.
You missed today's shopping experience. Don't worry, you have another opportunity in September.
The Rocket City Trash Band has found themselves back in Madison a few days sooner than scheduled. After the first 2 games of this week's original 6-game series against the Mississippi Braves got rained out, the precipitation didn't stop and field conditions got worse, so things moved north. When the series shifted to Rocket City, the Pandas turned this into a chance to help out charity. Tickets for the new 5-game mini homestand went for $10 each, benefiting the Trash Pandas Foundation.
Our mission is that we're just dedicated to educating and promoting healthy lifestyles through sport and just to positively impact the North Alabama community. Like you said, it was so sudden. We weren't expecting to play this weekend, but it's a huge honor to be able to have all these proceeds go back to the foundation so we can raise more money for charity.
All right, well, the United States Army celebrated its 249th birthday today at Redstone Arsenal. The birthday party had something for everyone, like the annual cruising car show, live music, and of course, a cake cutting ceremony to welcome in the Big 249. And Fox 54 is a proud sponsor of the celebration. Fox 50, as you can see here right now, Fox 54 chief meteorologist Jordan Dressman and Kanisha Dees were there to meet and greet with the crowd, and they got a chance to get down to the Macarena.
Why is Jordan doing the Macarena like that?
I have not done the Macarena in
I think I'm gonna have to teach him how to properly do the Macarena.
Hold on, why are they the only ones dancing?
They are.
The whole
I know, I'm very.
Where's everybody else?
I guess that just proves how much fun that we have at Fox 54. You're doing the Macarena. Don't know if there was music or not, but they were dancing away, and it looks like they had a fun time. I know it was hot out there.
I'm gonna say it was hot out there. It looks like everybody had fun.
Where a presidential hopeful made their case to North Alabama voters.
Once we're on the ballot, that is a shot across the bow of the empire. That we're here, we're organized, and we will be heard.
Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein stopped by Shenanigans in Huntsville today for the final stop of a 2-week tour. The presidential hopeful had 2 objectives: share her vision for America and garner signatures to make it on Alabama's general election ballot. In the Yellowhammer State, presidential candidates not nominated by the Democrat or Republican parties have until August 15th to submit 5,000 signatures of Alabama residents in order to be on the ballot. Still, she is intent on providing an alternative to the 2-party system.
So we're here in Alabama because Alabama, like the rest of the nation, is really struggling for good jobs, for clean water, for health care as a human right, for sewage infrastructure, for all kinds of basic things that we need as Americans. Yet half of our congressional budget is being spent on the endless war machine.
Local Green Party chapter president Joy Johnson says she hopes folks recognize the appeal of an alternative.
To me, it's really just about democracy and having more choices. It's really important for me to know that my politicians aren't bought and paid for by corporate interests.
Johnson says Stein has just under 1,000 signatures so far.
The Green Party is grassroots, and I don't see any of the other candidates for president showing up in Huntsville at a local club to talk to constituents.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. That is, we the voters are the ones who have to stand up and say what we demand from this political system and what we demand from our candidates.
Stein spoke on big picture topics like the wars in Gaza and Ukraine, the climate crisis, advocated for a $20 to $25 minimum wage, instituting Medicare for all, and making public higher education free.
Huntsville is also really hungry for an option that's of, by, and for the people. And it feels to me like democracy is alive and well in Huntsville. And this makes me really excited about what the future holds for all of us.
A deadly weekend in North Alabama with 3 separate shootings claiming 3 lives. The most recent happened around 7:30 this morning at the Red Roof Inn in Muscle Shoals. Police say a 15-year-old was killed and a 16-year-old was taken into custody. The investigation is ongoing this evening. Over in Huntsville, 1 person is dead following a shooting yesterday afternoon. This incident happened on Squaw Valley Drive, just west of McDonald Elementary School. Huntsville police tell us there's 1 victim who died after being shot multiple times. There's still no word tonight on any suspects or arrests. We have an update now on an officer-involved shooting in Athens we told you about last night. A 15-year-old has died following that shooting. Athens police said the teen threw knives and pointed a rifle at officers responding to a disturbance call at a home on Ells Drive. The incident now goes to the State Bureau investigation for review. North Alabama's hockey community rallied for a good cause today. The 4th edition of The Longest Game took over the Huntsville Ice Sports Center today to benefit the Russell Hill Foundation and Clearview Cancer Institute. Yep, that's the right score you see on your screen. Loads of goals get scored after about 6 hours of play. And yes, that's the water gun on the benches. That's all because this is far from regulation hockey. Two teams of over 100 combined skaters, the minute munchers, and the short shifts play from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with players rotating in and out throughout the day. A running score was kept for the whole day. Organizer Justin Lucas shares a little bit more about some of the quirks of this event and the impact on North Alabama families.
One of my friends had just, sent me a link to this fundraising game that they do in Canada where they play for like 2 weeks consecutively outside in the winter. And they raise like hundreds of thousands of dollars for cancer. And I thought, that's so cool. Let's do something like that here. So we get corporate sponsors, and then people will donate to purchase these things, what we call power plays, which is where they can making people skate with a mini stick, making money pucks, so the next goal is worth 5 goals, making everybody on the ice skate backwards for 2 minutes. And then we also have a big contingent of our players actually participate in fundraising on their own. So.
Heading into today, the tally had breached $10,000 raised. And as of this writing, over $12,355 were in the bank. Lucas hopes that they can exceed their goal of $20,000 set by the end of play, which was right at 9 p.m. tonight.
You lived long enough in the Tennessee Valley, you'll know just how crushed a lot of us were when the Saturn 1B rocket was no more last year. It was our welcome mat to Alabama on I-65. We've got some good news, though. Our Jasmine Bird gives us an update on plans for a new rocket in the works.
And it was an original Saturn 1B rocket, and it was not built to withstand 40 years of severe Alabama weather.
Alabama House District 6 Representative Andy Witt says after coming to this reality, there was no other choice.
It needed to come down for the safety of everyone concerned. So it was ultimately decided to take it down, in which it came down. They're currently building the new Welcome Center there in Ardmore. And 2 years ago, we began the process of trying to figure out, okay, what can replace it? And we quickly learned there was only one thing that could replace the Saturn B rocket, and that is another Saturn B rocket.
This new rocket will be a replica of the previous Saturn 1B.
We were able to secure $2 million in funding the first time, and this last year, along with the help of Governor Kay Ivey and Representative Rex Reynolds here from Madison and Representative Danny Crawford, we were able to secure $5 million.
Witt says they're currently still in the early planning stages of this process.
Obviously, it will take time as we look at the manufacturers of the rockets and the replicas. We want to make sure that we do it justice.
And as far as the upkeep is concerned.
So the upkeep on the rocket, we hope that will be very less expensive than what we face in keeping up the rocket to begin with.
For Witt, this rocket is a big part of his family tradition, which he says he looks forward to continuing for future generations.
My grandparents would bring me over to the rocket as a child to have picnics. I would carry my kids over to the picnic, to have picnics under the rocket, and certainly, hopefully now I'll be able to carry my grandkids one day.
In Ardmore, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Over in Florence, police are warning of an increase in loitering around local businesses. According to the department, they received numerous complaints from local retailers regarding people loitering, littering, and driving recklessly in their parking lots. Because of this, many of these places have now added no loitering signs to their lots. FPD does warn that the addition of these signs means no verbal warnings will be given and violators may be arrested on site. All right, we've all seen the front door camera footage of porch pirates around the holidays. You might also wonder how this footage is being used to prevent more thefts from happening. The Huntsville Police Department says it has a program where you can voluntarily give that footage to law enforcement to help. Our Ken McCoy has more.
if you're outside and you don't think you're underneath someone's camera, you're mistaken.
Cameras are everywhere. Unfortunately, police are not.
So imagine a few years ago, there's a crime that happens in your neighborhood, and so one of our officers, or 2 or 5 or 10, have to canvass the neighborhood for hours and figure out whether or not you have a camera.
Huntsville Police's Camera Share program is a tool being used to get better eyes on the ground.
The Huntsville Police Department's Camera Share program is designed to allow citizens, businesses, and government agencies to register their public-facing or outward cameras with the Huntsville Police Department. Essentially, that gives our officers on the street a map of any registered cameras in the area.
Drew Gilbert, Guardian Network operator with HPD, shares how the footage is used to catch even the most petty of crimes.
I would say that you have a package stolen off your porch and you don't have a camera, but your neighbor across the street does, or somebody in your neighborhood has that camera. If we're able to see where that footage is and request that from you, then we're able to usually find a suspect's description, physical description, or a vehicle description, and that plays a pretty big role in helping us get information that we didn't have before. Technology has become key in solving most crimes. It definitely helps us figure out cases and get information that we may not have had before. Public-facing cameras are one of the biggest resources we have. That's probably the biggest, most important piece of all this is if somebody has a camera and we don't know about it, there may be some small, clip on there that actually helps us figure something out.
And your privacy is not an issue.
So privacy is the utmost concern to us. So when you register for the Camera Share program, that is a secure list that nobody outside of HPD has. So that's only things that our patrol officers or investigators can see, and then any footage that's obtained, that is only passed out to people that are working that case.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Kim McCoy.
So Animal Services needs your help. The shelter faces critical overcrowding. The shelter currently has 90 dogs and more than 60 cats in kennels. Adoption fees for most adult animals will be waived through the end of the month. Animal Care Supervisor Stephanie McBride explains that a lack of spayed and neutered animals in the area contributed to this drastic increase in strays. But the shelter and the city of Huntsville does offer services to help reduce this.
So, people still need help with spay and neutering. So a lot of people are, these dogs, they're breeding dogs and then giving them away, and those aren't getting spayed or neutered. So we do have several programs that do help in the city of Huntsville to help with spay neuter. There's the spay neuter clinic.
McBride also shared that each adoptable pet will be spayed or neutered, microchipped, and vaccinated before leaving the shelter, all free of charge. For more information about shelter hours, visit our website. Senior adult care is a priority at Alabama A&M University's social work development, and the school is using awarded funds to do something about it. Professors at the social work department secured a $3.6 million grant from the Health Resources and Services Administration. This 5-year grant will fund the university's geriatrics workforce enhancement program. The university describes it as an initiative aimed at revolutionizing care for older adults.
What we're finding is that the projections are that elders who are 65 and older now, 30% of them will actually need geriatric care.
A lot of our elderly population, they deal with socioeconomic issues, and so we try to kind of lighten that burden.
This could certainly help a lot. The Department of Social Work has now secured 4 of those workforce development grants, totaling nearly $8 million. Big changes at Athens State University. The campus recently named the university's newly appointed 39th president last month, Dr. Catherine Wellberg. This marks the 3rd woman to be named as a permanent president in the history of the university, and she's the first woman in almost a century. Our Jasmine Burt sat down with her to discuss what's next for the university.
Dr. Wellberg, I just want to start by saying congratulations. How are you feeling? How are you soaking it all in? Because now you've come from interim president here at Athens State University to the 39th president. How are you soaking it all in?
Well, it's a wonderful experience. I am elated and excited about the next chapter of Athens State. I think that to be at this point as we start our 3rd century of educating students and to be able to have the opportunity to lead our wonderful faculty and staff in doing what we do best,
it is thrilling.
Love that. And one thing I just wanted to highlight, how are you feeling the emotion behind being the third female to hold this position here with the university?
You know, Athens State is 200 years old, and we started as a women's college. And so over time, Athens State has reinvented itself several times. And of the 39 individuals who have led, to only have 3 women is a relatively small number. So I would say it's about time.
Wow. And just looking to the future, this will be your first school year kind of in the position as full-on president. So talk to me about what are you looking forward to, anything you're looking to kind of get started on first, or just talk to me about anything you're looking forward to.
We have a lot of opportunities in front of us. One of the areas that we're going to be focusing on is our adult learner population. We have a large number of students who are adults. They have careers, they are working, they have families, they have other responsibilities, and yet they are here to try and complete their credential, their degree. And our role in supporting those students is crucial. We have, in the state of Alabama, there are over 500,000 individuals who have some college but no credential. And our focus this upcoming year and for years to come is to continue to help them finish what they have started and finish their degree.
In Athens, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Day for one small Huntsville chocolate shop. Pazzel's Confections was named Best Chocolate Shop in the U.S. in the USA Today 2024 Reader's Choice Poll. Co-owner Caitlin Lyon shared how she felt when she got the news of the big win.
We were super excited to learn that we came in as voted number one chocolate shop in the USA Today Reader's Choice, because what it really meant is that people in Huntsville took the time to go online and vote in that. And that means a lot to us because this has been our home since we started.
Congratulations. Pazzel's is located at Campus 805 in the Student Union Building, open Tuesday through Sunday. Today we observe freedom, the end of slavery in the U.S. after the Civil War. People across the country celebrating today in many ways. Here in Madison County, some leaders observed with a community conversation. Jasmine Bird was there and fills us in.
Madison County hosting its second annual Juneteenth community conversation earlier today, touching on what some might consider a harsh reality, the idea of colorblindness.
As it relates to the notion of colorblindness, I don't believe in it. I think that color boldness, color conscious, race conscious, and not being afraid to stand, talk about it, engage it, and believe in it will move us forward as a society.
This O Freedom 2024 event was hosted by District 6 Commissioner Violet Edwards, making it very clear that it's all about opening the community's eyes to a viewpoint they may not have ever seen before.
And when you sit beside somebody, maybe not even from your neighborhood, but you'll be able to look at them and say, that's what I'm talking about. That's right. On the record. I know that's right. That is why we are here today.
Open and honest community conversation discussing the notion of a colorblind society, also highlighting that parents have an important role to play by teaching kids about the ideology of color at an early age.
If we don't teach our children, and when I say our children, I mean our whole nation of children,
at the end of the day, teach them history. As dark and as tragic as it may seem.
The way that I have learned to talk about things is different from the way that my kids have learned to talk about things. The way that my parents learned to talk about things. And so we all have to start from what is our common ground.
So when we talk about education, it has to come from a space of the fullness of who we are as a society, not just this blanket of colorblindness to make us feel comfortable.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
lot of us enjoy the perks of having the day off in honor of Juneteenth, but today is much more than a holiday. It's a reminder that freedom has a cost, and one way to pay it forward is by exercising our voices. Our Ken McCoy was at the Athens Juneteenth Festival and has more.
As a black person living in Alabama, it shows how far we've come.
Juneteenth serves as more than just a holiday.
We still got some ways to go. You got to remember the past in order to make sure you don't repeat it in the future.
It's the yearly reminder that freedom comes at a cost.
Even though we celebrate Juneteenth, we still got to fight for our freedom. Those individuals throughout the course of generations that died to keep freedom free, they paid with the cost. And even though we commemorate Juneteenth, it's always still a reminder to let us know that freedom isn't free, that we're only a stone throw away for going back into slavery if we don't exercise our power and our right to vote.
At the annual Juneteenth Festival in Athens, the message was simple.
We all have the right to vote, and every election is important, but especially this year. And nobody can say they don't know how to vote. You can reach out to us, we will help you.
We always want to encourage people, especially first-timers that aren't registered, to register and vote. And for those who are registered, to continue to vote, because democracy is counted on.
The Limestone County NAACP, Limestone County Democrats, and the Delta Alpha Pi Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta sorority are stressing the significance of this year's vote.
We don't want this year's results to be the results of not the majority of people that need to hear their voices, have their voices heard. So it's important for everybody to exercise their right. And if that happens, we will win.
And they also expressed the joy of celebrating a day like today.
This Juneteenth celebration is awesome. It's awesome today, and it has been for the last 3 years. So we're really honored to be here to support this effort.
I'm proud of being an Alabamian. I'm proud of being an American military veteran. And that's what America is about. Even though we are different people, different views, different opinions, we still can share and experience it without persecution.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
The Heart of the Valley YMCA is helping kids learn this summer with the Wise Power Scholars Academy program. The program is for kids in grades K through 8, and it's all meant to reduce learning loss for kids over the summer break. We, with the WISE education coordinator, tells us how they keep learning about fun.
And this is an environment where students can learn, even though we have measurements to see their growth, they can learn in fun ways. We have book clubs, and we have stations in the reading where they're changing every 20 minutes and they're doing hands-on activities that tie to the stories. The same thing with math. Today, one of the groups was to do cubic volume. They were making their own swimming pools and doing the measurements in the classroom. So things like that just make learning so much more fun.
And that was the education coordinator there. The program goes on Monday through Friday from at least 6.5 hours. It focuses on literature, math, recreation, and more. 3 Huntsville athletes are making a stop in Minneapolis on the road to the Paris Olympic Games. The trampoline gymnasts are preparing to compete for a final spot next week. Our Ken McCoy stopped by one of their last practices and has the story.
Ever since I was, 10, I could dream about going to the Olympics.
I've thought of it ever since I was a little kid.
I was on trampolines pretty much from the time I was born.
An early start.
My mom, she was a national champion back in the 80s in diving off of 10 meter. And I started flipping there, and then I found trampoline.
Or should we say, jump start.
When I was born, my mom owned a gym and she was a trampoline coach. So I was bouncing on a trampoline before I could walk.
For these 3,
I had 2 older siblings doing the sport, and my mother had to keep driving me back and forth to the gym because she couldn't leave me home alone. So she just threw me into a class one day.
Can lead to a special opportunity.
Representing the United States, especially at the Olympics, it's one of the highest achievements in any sport, really.
Trinity, Paul, and Cody are headed to the Olympic trials in Minneapolis to compete for a chance at Paris.
It's going to be the third of 3 trials, and after the end of that competition, the Olympians will be named.
The event?
I think at its core, trampoline's a fun sport where you can just, do the skills you want to do and flip, however you want to. And, I think that just brings, the joy to me. So we're out here getting our finishing touches done and making sure we're ready to go for competition next week.
But it's not as simple as it seems.
In our sport, you don't get a second chance. You have 2 routines, you have 2 tries, but if you fall off, then your try is done. So it's very cutthroat and very unforgiving. So definitely going into it with the right mind is definitely a benefit I think that I have.
And training has been intense.
We're in the gym 5 days a week, 2 times a day, 3 of those 5 days. I think right now we're on equipment 17.5 hours a week, and then we'll usually do weightlifting like 2 to 3 times outside of the gym.
And now they're in the final stretch.
So this is my 3rd time at the Olympic trials. So there is a lot of emotion that goes into it, but that's what we're here for at the gym. We practice day in, day out, and we're just there to do what we normally do here and just show off. And it's our time to present what we've been working on.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Right, well, several local nonprofits receiving tens of thousands of dollars in racial equity grants today. These grants focus on improving quality of life for those in the greater Huntsville community. We spoke with the foundation's CEO who shares just what this means for the area. Take a listen.
7 different nonprofit organizations will receive over $73,000 of funding at today's ceremonies. It's things from arts and entertainment to education to lots of things in between. And so we're here to celebrate the generosity of our donors to make a difference in this area.
The Community Foundation's Racial Equity Fund started back in 2020. Since then, those grants have totaled more than $450,000.
Hi, everyone. Fox 54 Sports Director Mo Carter here. This week was one for the history books as Major League Baseball took to historic Rickwood Field in Birmingham for the very first time for a tribute to the Negro Leagues. It was a bittersweet game that also served as a tribute for former Negro League player and San Francisco Giant Hall of Famer Willie Mays, who passed away this past week. Nick Kuzma, Simon Williams, and I spent all week bringing you a look at the historic Negro Southern League Museum and the generations of players who met on this hallowed field. We've got a compilation of videos on Fox 54 Plus and on Fox54.com. We encourage you to check them out.
Thanks as always for watching the Fox 54 Weekend Review. This is a digital exclusive series found only on our website and the Fox 54 Plus app. Download it today for your Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV devices and have our mobile app at the ready for breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. We'll see you again right here next week.